Bottom, bottom.
All right, we should be good now. Or we were good for a couple seconds while I was making dumb faces. Either
Hmm.
one. Oh, I need to look at what I've been playing.
Ah, there we are.
Oh, Raptor, you're my only savior. Well, I'm assuming we'll be talking about Ni no Kuni, so...
Yeah, yeah.
But what else did I play?
Man, I gotta tell you, I applaud your willpower on making yourself finish Sleeping Dogs, because I really kind of don't want to finish that game. Like, I
Yep.
love the game and I love the story and I love being in the world and I just want to keep playing it and driving around.
You know what's really great though is as soon as you finish the game, like there's a fairly long credits sequence, but after that it just dumps you back in the world. It's like, all right, have fun.
Okay, maybe I
Which
should just do
which
that.
I feel like open world games should be a bit better about, um, making sure they explain. Because like when you're getting towards the end of the game, I feel like there should be a pop up where it's like, hey, we're just gonna throw you right back into the world at the end. So maybe you should just, hey, caller, turn down your radio. Maybe you should just finish the game, just see the ending, because I feel like a lot of people probably don't. They like that world too much and they want to keep wandering around, but
Yeah,
they don't know if the game's gonna let them keep doing that.
yeah, okay. I'll just do it. I finished all of Roland's missions earlier and that had a surprisingly cool end to it.
Yeah,
I
I
was
kind of like the ending because I kind of wasn't liking Wei. So a little bit of spoilers for people that are watching. I didn't really like Wei Shen during that mission because he was kind of being a bastard. And
yeah.
then, like, at that last one, he's like, no, man, this is too far. I can't be doing this. I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
I
I love you,
was
Wei.
about to say when the guy's like, "Okay, let's go check the the other person related to this person." I'm
Yeah, and
like,
I'm just like, I don't
"I
feel
don't
comfortable with this at
I,
all.
I don't want to do this mission."
Yeah. Oh,
Ah, man, that game's good. It's I downloaded like Steam had a sale on all the DLC and I downloaded all that recently and
mm-hmm.
it was cool cuz I got, like 28 pieces or something like that of DLC for 15 bucks, but then it was not
Wow.
cool because I didn't realize two of the DLCs leveled me up the rest of the way.
Right, right, right.
Um and I mean luckily I think I already had it seemed like I already had my cop meter maxed out or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. My face meter maxed out. So it wasn't like a huge, like, oh crap, I just gave
You like
myself
broke
everything
the
at the.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I,
it's
I
still.
actually kind of liked that because I bought most of that DLC. I got Sleeping Dogs, I think, when it came out originally. I just hadn't played it until recently. I think they had a DLC sale on the 360. So I picked up a couple of them that sounded cool, where it's like, oh, here's a cool outfit, and like, ooh, this one comes with a car, all right. So not even knowing anything about the game, I picked up some. Um, and I think one of them was one of those leveling ones. So I started the game off with like level 7 of all three. And like, I would have been upset if it didn't feel awesome. Because at the beginning of the game, I was just like, I can do everything. This is amazing.
Oh man, that game's a lot of fun. It's. I do wish I'd like read through all the skills on the face tree, so I wouldn't have bought any cars before I maxed that out.
Yeah, I'm
But
I'm kind of glad that I caught that early. Because that would have I bought all the cars in the game, and that was still pretty pricey.
those cars in that, like the really fast car, I can't remember which one it is, but I think it's the one they always drive on Giant Bomb whenever Vinny does one of his monthly casts on that.
One
But
of
like,
his crazy let's break this game sort of thing.
yeah. But I love like you go into the freaking side spin and then just hit the gas and it's just like I love the way it feels and looks on it because the
Yeah,
car's like going so fast that it's taking it out of its side spin.
yeah.
It's really cool. Anyway.
Hello to everybody in the chat. I would love to chat with you, but I can't. Chat isn't working for me on Twitch yet, so we'll give it a minute here so we can get everybody in with us.
Yeah. Am I logged in? I'm not logged in.
Ah, there we go. I'm also not logged in. Gasp.
That's a weird concept that you could be streaming video to this site and like it not have you logged into it.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I think it's because I'm using XSplit and it caches all those credentials, but that's just still very odd.
It'd be nice if they just did a because like I keep the window open to interact with chat, but like the video is a couple seconds behind, so I can't look at it or I
Yeah,
will mess myself up.
it is really weird.
It'd be nice if they just had a chat client for the website.
Yeah, I wonder if they will with the new version of the website. But you should see this disaster of a screen I have going here because I have the XSplit video here, and then right next to it is I have your Skype call, and then right above it is another Skype call of you because I don't have Skype highlighted and it's not full screen. And then on the other screen I have Adobe Audition. If I wasn't, streaming in like I think it's 480p we typically stream in, I would share my entire screen and just show everybody this disaster we have going on.
Oh, man.
And now I logged in and chat's not coming up. We'll give it another minute.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can start recording here while we're waiting, at least. Do you have your stuff open?
Yes, I do. Let me
All right.
move this just a little bit closer. There. That'll be better. All right.
Ready?
Yes.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1, record. Nope. Hold on.
Oh, right. I need to be pressing a button, huh?
Yeah, 1 second. Sorry to everybody watching the chat. This is going to get real weird for a second here. You see everything I have installed in Windows 8. Because my recording rate and my microphone rate is different. No, it isn't. Oh, yeah, it is. I see what the problem is. I need to change. This is the fun of podcasting for everyone at home. Alright, I guess I need to just start a new session. Because my mic does not want to record in 32-bit depth.
They have a pop-out for this chat. I wonder if that means I can open this up and then close the video window.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Probably shouldn't get my hopes up.
Sorry, a session is already open. Yeah. Man, I'm using the new Adobe Audition, and it is just... I'm having a hard time learning it.
I really need to go download all that free software they put up.
Yeah, what's weird is it's not really free, because they kind of made a mistake, but it kind of is free. PUP.
I don't know. I'd probably be more willing to pay money for these things if they were, less than $100 for a version that could do everything.
It's a pretty good price. I mean, and by pretty good I mean expensive as hell. Oh, I just crashed. Great. Man, delete. Can I start? Yeah, all right. Now I'm good. Great, now I'm not actually going to get my... Oh, man, come on. There we go. Okay. I'll put the audio in there later. This changes to my mic. Arm for recording. Pants. Okay. This is easily the most exciting pre-show live stream we've ever done.
Woo, setup.
Oh yeah, that's
Crazy update. I'm giving up on the pop-up chat window because it never opened.
Man, Twitch, you're just not working with us today. Okay, well, all right, you ready to try recording again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Starting in 3, 2, 1, record. Damn it.
Ah.
Oh, I screwed up too. Don't feel bad. Sample rates of the audio input and audio device and output devices do not match. Audio cannot be recorded until it's corrected.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is really weird. What am I recording in? 44? Oh, it kept 32-bit. Herg. Problem is, I can't change it. Okay, I guess I'll try again. I will change to... I can leave that, I guess. Okay, let's see if I can record now. Nope. Great.
Just gonna be one of those days.
Yeah, I can feel it. Alright, recording is that.
Ooh. If anyone's watching, Bastion is 75% off on Steam.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Go get those. Go get that turret spell summoner thing.
Yeah. Pants, pants, pants. Okay, we should still be able to hear me. Alright, so this has to be a problem with my audio hardware in Audition.
Did you check to make sure it didn't do anything stupid like reset whatever your audio recording device is or
Yeah,
whatever?
it looks like it did. Default input is that. Sample rate is 44.1. So I need to change this back to 44.1. Yep. And then delete that. I swear this is black magic most of the time. 44.1 with 32. I do not understand why I can't record.
Which version of Audition is the one you have?
I'm using CS6 now. Actually, I wonder if CS3 can, or Edition 3 can do it. Let's see. So I could just always use that. Stereo, this guy, arm recording, record, pants, pants, pants. Okay. So that one can do it, so I'll just use that.
Okay.
I do not understand this. E1M1, PUP, episode 19. Okay, I guess I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, I am ready.
All right. Start recording in 3, 2, 1, record. Pants, pants, pants.
Check 1, 2. Yay!
Okay. 18th time's the charm.
Might actually be working. Oh, man. post this link on our Facebook carousel because I never think to do that.
All right.
Does that make a noise if I scratch?
Probably, but it's okay.
Okay.
Makes it sound rustic.
Yeah, I'm not used to having this much facial hair.
It's a real manly podcast.
Been lazy this week.
It's okay. Just your winter coat.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. Close this crap out.
Man,
Hey,
I only have
pop
two...
out chat without the main window working. That's
Nice.
awesome.
I only have 2 games I've been playing, and one of them is Ni no Kuni.
It's, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a busy month.
Let's see. Wow. Sometimes I wish I took better notes on my list because I look at certain items and I'm like, I have no idea what I was talking about there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. I'm ready to start whenever you are.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels. I'm your host, Boston. Over there is Musum.
Hello.
And I don't think we have anything to talk about. So at the beginning, we don't have anything to talk about at all. So yeah, we'll see you all next month. Bye.
Yeah, good podcast. Good talking with you.
Yeah,
and,
it's 2-second podcast. I don't think we have any announcements, so let's get started with what you've been playing, Musum.
okay. Golly. Knickers. Yeah.
My stars.
Cause, yeah. So, if you didn't know, we're talking about Ni no Kuni, where they talk like they're in the 50s. And
Gee willikers.
because they're from the town of
Motorville?
I just blanked. Motorville.
Yeah, which is a
yes.
pretty cool town name.
It is.
Yeah.
But before we talk about the actual game, I want to talk about my experience in obtaining my copy of my Nino starter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, just to clarify at the end, no, I'm not one of these $400 crazy people.
Oh, yeah. No.
Although
And
I briefly did.
We'll
I
talk a
briefly
bit more
considered.
about specifics in the news stories. So we'll go
Yeah.
through the whole what happened to everybody, but I am
Yeah.
very curious to hear your personal story.
Mine mainly revolves around Namco's website not behaving like a rational internet shop.
Yeah. Like a modern day website.
Yeah. So I ordered a Nino starter back in August when that was going on. I've been super excited for this game and super excited for the wizard manual that comes with it because I like the idea of having something physical that's in the game that I can reference.
Yeah.
So I was pretty excited about that. I've been super excited about this.
I think the Wizard's Guide was my selling point for that thing because I was like, man, this whole game revolves around this giant book. And I can have my own copy. Like, yeah, that's worth the however much stupid amount of money that thing cost.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk about the book here in a minute, but so like back in December, like the card I had pre-ordered the game on, basically someone in Germany used it, so it got canceled.
Yeah.
Got canceled and reissued, and I thought I upgraded it everywhere, but evidently I didn't upgrade it anywhere because like I had an Amazon order have an issue, but they just said, hey, update your payment information.
Yeah.
We'll send it to you. Same thing happened with eBay and PayPal, where they sent me an email that said, hey, update your payment issue, and we'll issue it to you. But then day of release for Ni no Kuni happens, and Namco emails me and says, yeah, we couldn't charge your card, so we canceled your order.
Super.
And I was just like, you guys didn't do this. So I responded to the email and then realized it was one of those don't respond to emails.
Yeah. Of course.
I got on the website for the thing, and my order didn't show up in my Namco account at all. So I sent them a message through the website. And then that day I proceeded to visit, I believe, 2 GameStops, 1 Vintage Stock, Target, Kmart, Walmart, and 2 Best Buys.
8 Borders.
Yeah. Like, No one had anything. Most of them didn't even have a freaking copy of the game, which was mind blowing to me.
Hmm.
Um, like one Best Buy, they didn't have the game, but they had the big freaking strategy guide.
Yeah, I did buy the strategy guide too, though.
It's
Um,
I got that too
I,
eventually.
I
That
have a
thing.
weakness for hardcover strategy guides. I don't know why.
Well, this one has like interviews in the back. Those things are
Yeah.
awesome. But anyway, so that Tuesday passes. I go through Wednesday. At the end of the day, or no, it is the morning, Thursday morning following that. I get an email that's a reply to my email that I sent to the Do Not Reply website.
Hmm.
And it said, "Hey, just call this number and we'll get your order reinstated."
Great.
And so I called that number, and that's exactly what happened. And I got a shipping notification that day, and then started reading articles about the mess we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
So I lucked the hell out.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you called and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll just fix it up." Instead of like, "Yeah, we already gave your order to like 8 other people. Sorry."
Yeah, it's my only thought is maybe it was because it was the Kickstarter. Like
Hmm.
you couldn't order any new ones of those, so maybe
Right.
they didn't have any backlog. I don't know, but
I think that's probably the only reason why I got my copy too, because as soon as they announced that Nino starter thing, I was in day one.
yeah,
I was hoping for better rewards because the ones we got are a little cheesy. But I still have a pretty cool copy of the game, so I can't be
well, and
too
it's
mad.
and honestly, it's like I love Nino Kunai. I
Hmm.
should say that straight up. If they had not sent me my Wizards edition, I probably would not have played it.
Yeah,
Um,
and I'm
but at
hearing that
least,
from a lot of people too. Which, if anybody's listening and they got screwed by Namco Bandai or Digital River, I've only played like 3.5 hours of it so far, but if you love JRPGs, which you probably do if you're listening to this show, I would hope,
yeah,
you really do owe it to yourself to go try and find a copy of this game because it is pretty much JRPG colon the video game. I mean, it is one of the most traditional JRPGs you can get.
yeah, and like the in-game book is I think smartly laid out for
Yeah.
the most part. Like I do wish they would make this like the book is so freaking awesome, and
Hmm.
I wish they would just say, "Hey, pay us 20, $30 and we'll give you this book."
Yeah,
Because
like a full size copy of that book.
yeah, like part of the magic of this game, like okay, there's a lot of magic in this game for me,
Yeah.
but part of it is having this book, and they'll give you a page in the game. I'll be like, "Ooh, I'm going to go read it,"
Hmm.
and then be annoyed by the conversation for the next couple minutes because they're going to entirely tell you what the
Yeah.
obvious spell called bridge does or something. But
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite ones is when they start explaining when you get a fireball spell in like the second hour in a forest, and Mr. Drippy, who is an amazing character and is one of the best voice actors in that game, uh, proceeds to explain what a fireball spell is, and I'm like, I know the game is focused towards kids, but at some point it's sort of like everybody knows what a fireball is.
yeah, yeah, they man. There's this one conversation you get into later where this guy, like, they're training you to recruit familiars,
Hmm.
and the guy's like, "Okay, here's a sample thing. None of these are gonna attack you," and he says like, "None of these are gonna attack you," literally 5 times.
Oh,
Like, it is just, come on, guys.
yeah, well, the one I was really when we were talking about that forest sequence there for a bit, but there's this one part where Drippy has been going on for quite a while, and I like that. Even at one point, he's like, "I know this has been really long, but it's almost over. Just hang on." And it's sort of like, all right, that makes it feel a little bit better, but
Yeah. Drippy's self-awareness
yeah,
of the player, I think, really, really aids a lot.
hmm
The story is kind of like well, no, it's got some heart to it, but like it's the characters for me that really make it shine out.
yeah,
Um,
and the
it,
general cheeriness of it. It's not like
yeah,
this post-apocalyptic wasteland of, oh god, humans are almost extinct. We're just trying to make it. It's just like no, like everything is really happy. Everybody's having a good time.
it
Things are
is
great.
refreshing. Like in a sea of games that want you to hate humanity.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I
just a story
mean,
about a kid and his mom and his doll.
from Spec Ops: The Line to Far Cry 3, now to Kuni.
Yeah, yeah. This one will bring back your faith in humanity,
Yeah,
and that's what I kind of like about it. Like we don't get, so many JRPGs we get are, the almost stereotypical at this point, spiky haired group of teenagers and the old guy who's 23 years old, and they're going to save the world from an androgynous pretty gentleman. And at this point, there's that point at the beginning of Nino Kuni where that woman's looking into a crystal ball and she says, "So this is the boy that saves the world," and it's just like that's a little on the nose, but
yeah,
even so, like if it's aimed towards kids, then that's fine. It's harmless at the end of the
yeah.
day.
Well, but reality, I mean, we can probably distill most games down to your character is the one who's going to save the world. It doesn't have to be a JRPG, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
well,
the
it meets some trope at the end of the day.
yeah. I mean
It's
that
the savior trope.
I mean that's what made the twist in BioShock work. That's made
Yeah,
the twist in Spec Ops: The Line work
right,
is having that precedent set.
right.
So I don't. I think JRPGs are kind of unfairly harped on for that.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, no, this game like I've been trying to think about what to say about it all day because I'm about 15 hours in.
Oh, okay.
Um, I've been to like 3 or 4 villages, and I'm about to get my third party member, and they just introduced alchemy.
Mm.
They like there's a lot I love about this game, but there's a lot of stuff where I kind of wish the mechanics of it went through one more draft
Right.
because there are the combat really feels like they went, I really like Chrono Trigger and I really like Pokemon. Can we put these things together?
Yeah. Well, and with almost like a dash of Final Fantasy 12 in there, where it's
Oh,
almost for some for some party members you give them an overarching command and then it draws that line and just says go crazy.
yeah, there's a lot of Final Fantasy 12 in this,
Yeah.
especially with the bounties and the bounty board
Yeah,
stuff.
and I just got to that stuff and I just got my first merit stamp card and I was like, okay, great. So now that I have these cards, I needed to do all of them. Okay,
Yeah,
good, great. I know I'm gonna get addicted to helping out every jerk in every one of these towns.
it's so much fun. It's although granted, whenever you're taking heart to give heart to someone, like every time I'm like, so twist at the end is this is the prequel to Kingdom Heart.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, you froze. Whoop, there you are.
Oh no, am I back?
Nope, you're back. We're good.
Okay, yeah. No, I was just saying like the twist at the end of the game is it's a Kingdom Hearts prequel. Like you're
Yeah.
creating the Heartless as you go because you're robbing
Oh man,
everyone's.
that'd be great.
But I really dig the heart stuff because as you go
Yeah.
further in the game, I mean, all those I guess for people who haven't played it, you get this little vial that stores pieces of heart, and they have maybe a dozen or so different types of emotions you can draw into it,
Hmm.
like kindness and courage and enthusiasm,
Yeah.
or at least those are the ones I know about so far. But it's an aspect of the game I really like, and I feel like they're probably not going to use it as much as I want them to, but
Yeah.
they still like every city I've gone to has had at least 1 to 3 bounties involving this.
Well, and that's what's
Um,
really great. I mean, one of the biggest criticisms that a lot of people had of, the last big JRPG that came out, Final Fantasy 13, was that they didn't have any towns in the game. It was just, one dungeon to another, and maybe there was a town, but there wasn't really anything to do in it. And I really like that Ni no Kuni can show, we have a giant world, and also we have these giant towns that you are more than encouraged to go wandering around because there's stuff everywhere.
yeah,
There was even in that first town there was that Sage of Ages, and I ran into him because I was wandering around, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna give you this thing, and I'm in the next town, so go find me there, and I'll probably give you more stuff too."
that guy's kind of entertaining.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun that the towns are more than an inn and a shop and a place to get bounty board. It has a bunch of stuff in it. You're helping out people. You're finding stuff in pots, which is funny that he doesn't break any of the pots like in typical JRPGs. He just digs the stuff
Well,
out of them.
And you may not have discovered this yet, but the pots regenerate their contents.
Oh, I did not know that.
It's
Well, that's fun.
it's pretty handy.
Yeah.
From what I've read, like pots and resources you find on the map will regenerate anywhere between like a couple minutes to an hour or
Hmm.
so.
That's not bad.
The only item I found that hasn't like regenerated is a side quest specific item that's
Right.
around a volcano.
Right.
Um, because I was trying to complete this quest before I continued the story, and I couldn't because the story had to give me the spell so I could go get the other item.
Oh, right.
But
Right.
man, there's so many aspects to this game.
It's really it's very, I don't want to say complicated because I feel like that's too negative a word. It's very deep. Even like 3.5 hours in, I don't even have everything on my main menu filled out. And there's like a stone you can talk to, and you can open up the book and look at your familiars, and you got all this stuff that they just keep throwing at you. But I feel like all of it is fairly straightforward, so I don't feel like it's just like, God, they gave me another thing and I haven't even wrapped my head around the last one.
yeah.
I never feel like that.
It's so far it's been a pretty like all the mechanics in it are fairly simple. It's just when you stack them on top of each other that seems kind of daunting.
Yeah.
But it very much feels like one of those games that's going to be adding more and more things through the entirety
Hmm.
of the game. Like I
Yeah.
don't think like at 15 hours I just now got the alchemy ability.
Right.
Um, I still only have two party members but I have a dozen or so familiars, which are probably the cutest creatures in the world.
Yeah. I like all of the enemies and the familiars so far, and I like that they're all very pun based. Oh, I just dropped. Yay, Skype.
No.
Yep, you're back.
Okay.
All right, starting back up. I do like all of the familiars and all the enemies. I think they're adorable, and I do like that they're all pun based.
Yes. When when you get your first one and he's called Mighty, spelled Mitey.
Yeah. Well, I like there's a tiny baby snake that's chomping on his tail, and his name's Ouroboros, and it's just like that's great. Like who's gonna know that? That's amazing.
Yeah. I uh I will say it's weird. Like as much as like I love everything about the game, but I also have criticism for almost everything about the game.
Okay.
And I don't like if you're a big RPG fan, I think you'll enjoy it a lot. But if you're not a big RPG fan, I mean, again, back to what you said, I don't know why you're listening to our cast, but I think this could affect your experience with it.
Yeah.
Like the familiars when you recruit them, like it's just a random chance in battle.
Hmm.
You beat them, and then something may or may not happen, and each one has a different percentage chance. So if you want a particular familiar, you may end up fighting them dozens and
Grinding a
dozens of
little
times.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think it's like they built the game kind of around grinding. So doing all the bounties and quests and familiar recruiting,
Hmm.
I don't think you should think of it as necessarily optional when you play the game because
Yeah.
it'll level you up enough to where when you get to the next area, you aren't being killed automatically by enemies because the enemies
Yeah.
do get way harder every single area you go to.
Well, and that's what I've sort of been surprised about. I don't know how Ni no Kuni became like the next big JRPG that like every outlet is reviewing, but I see everyone reviewing it, and it's sort of funny that I've seen some non-RPG reviewers reviewing Ni no Kuni, and to see the surprise in their review and on their faces when they're talking about it, because at 15 to 20 hours it becomes a JRPG, and if you haven't been playing it like a JRPG, if you've just been following the critical path throughout the game, you really hit a brick wall, and you're really going to have a bunch of trouble. But if you play it like normal JRPG players do, and you're doing everything in every single town as soon as you come across it, then you're okay. But there have been some valid criticisms that I don't feel like the game is very good at explaining the multiple ways you can control stuff in battle. Like it explains I think one of the biggest problems it has is in inside battle, you can switch, on your rotary wheel at the bottom of, attack, defend, items, etc., etc. You can scroll through that with the D-pad, or you can use L2 and R2, which makes things way easier.
Oh, I didn't know that.
See, they don't really explain it. I just caught it. I think it was Kotaku had this article of, like the 12 things you should know before you play Ni no Kuni. And that was one of them. And the other one was in battle, square and triangle do defend all, attack all for all familiars.
Okay,
So,
I think that's an ability you have to unlock though
okay,
later,
it
isn't
might
it?
be.
Okay.
I haven't gotten to that point yet. I have like one character and one familiar. So I
Yeah.
haven't really gotten to that. But like that L2 and R2 thing is a huge game changer because you're not like claw controllering around this thing. You're just
Yeah, I'd been selecting my magic like with my right thumb to hit the D-pad so I can keep moving
hmm
my character. No, that's huge. That's
yeah, that's a huge thing that they. I don't even know if they. The weird part too is they have that giant book in the game, but they do a really bad job of explaining any controls or it's telling you, hey, you should go look at the actual manual that came with the game. Where I'm sure they would list that out, but they don't.
let's talk about that for just a moment because
Yeah.
it's so rare for a game to come with a real manual.
And I think if I remember correctly, when I read something that the non-Wizard Edition copies of the game come with a black and white manual, and the Wizard Edition ones come with color. But they both come with a manual, so it's
Yeah,
nice to see a game that one has like a 400-page book in the game and comes with a pretty nice manual, actually.
man, yeah. Character descriptions, story descriptions, like it
Yeah,
actually I was surprised like I got it and I thought, "Oh, well half of this is going to be in other languages." And no.
yeah.
Not at all. It's
Yeah, it's a pretty nice it's a very nice package. I guess we haven't really talked about the Wizard Edition package yet because we were just bouncing all over the place. But um, that I'm a little disappointed at the Nino Starter stuff we got here in the U.S. Like we got some art prints which are okay. They're good enough quality. The art is nice, but I'm not really too impressed with that. We got a little gold coin, which is fine. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I had a really high hopes for the soundtrack that came with it after Final Fantasy 13 1 or 2. I don't remember which one came with the full 4-disc soundtrack in the collector's edition. This comes with one that's 2 tracks. It's just sort of like,
oh man, I didn't even pop
oh, you froze again. Skype, 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 Skype,
these
Skype.
times.
Whoop.
I lost you for a minute.
Yep, we're back. But you said you didn't even pop the disc in yet?
No, I didn't realize it was only 2 tracks. That's super disappointing.
Yeah, it has the track listing on the back, and it was just 2 tracks, which
Hello?
is. Whoop, sorry, we're really delayed here today for some reason. I don't know why.
I think uh oh my gosh.
There we go.
Are we settled? I'm not sure what else I can turn off.
I don't think it's either one of our problems today. It's probably
I'm just gonna get out of chat. That'll be taking up
okay.
bandwidth, so okay.
Okay.
So soundtrack.
All right.
Yeah,
Starting
no,
again.
I
Yeah, that's it. It is sort of a bummer that it is only 2 tracks. I'm sure, for some games, probably in the PS1 and earlier days, a soundtrack with 2 tracks that were orchestrated versions of the regular tracks would probably be really great. But the soundtrack in this game is beautiful to begin with, and it's the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra that's, performing music from the guy that does the Studio Ghibli
mm-hmm.
soundtrack. So like it's already amazing. So having a 2-track soundtrack is sort of like, well, I don't why. Like I don't even know why you put that. I would even accept like a download code for like a PSN download of the soundtrack. That to me would be better than what we
Yeah.
got. So
Yeah, I agree. That's man, that's
that's a
I
bummer.
didn't even yeah.
But the
I
the
don't
real the real draw of the package for me at least was the the copy of the Wizard's Almanac or whatever they call it, and that is pretty good, but it's a little bit smaller than I was hoping it would be. I didn't expect it to be like full size, like a tome, but I was hoping it would
Yeah.
be a little bit bigger.
Yeah. For those people at home, I'm holding up my copy.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
very
got to tell you that
very nicely made though.
this man, and it's so charming to read.
Yeah,
Like the rules of wizardry, and they spell
they spell
wizardry.
everything very oddly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wisearie.
yeah.
Takes a minute to kind of figure out how to read it, but
Well, it's kind of nice too that they reproduce the, the fables of the world. All the kind of in-world stories in that book too. So if you love world building like I do, you can just go in and just start reading fairy tales from in that world.
the
I
book
like that a
really
lot.
does. Yeah, the book really adds a ton of immersion to it.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, this would be the equivalent of playing like Mass Effect and having a freaking companion app that
Yeah,
like syncs with your game and pulls up whatever you're about to
yeah. You just unlocked an
encounter.
entry about the Elcor. Let me pull up my
Exactly.
iPad. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's man, so many things to talk about on this game.
It's
Like,
it's such a dense game, and I kind of like that because I feel like we haven't had a huge console JRPG that's really super dense but still accessible at the same time. Because you can look at something like, what was it, Resonance of Fate, that is one of the most dense RPGs that's ever been put out on a console, but it's also almost impossible to get into. Um, but like I think maybe the last one we had was Lost Odyssey, and that even wasn't that dense. It was fairly straightforward. So, and to have one that's charming like this too. I mean, it's just an
yeah,
adorable game.
and I mean it goes without saying, but I don't think we've said it yet that the freaking graphics and artwork are just
Oh,
freaking
yeah.
gorgeous. Like the animation, just watching the kid run with freaking Mr. Drippy bouncing up behind
And
him,
his like cape flapping around.
and anytime they give like there's a lot of quest items that Mr. Drippy will carry, and it's just like adorable.
Yeah, there was
And
that
then he
one.
comes out with his freaking like,
Whoop, go ahead.
oh no, I wasn't. Uh,
Oh, sorry, we had
I,
Skype issues again. Well, yeah, like one of the favorite ones is at the beginning where you're going to find Timmy Toldrum in what's its face, and whoop, I don't have any audio from you again.
uh, oh really? I
Oh,
can
there
hear
you
you.
are. Yeah, when you find Timmy Toldrum and Mr. Drippy is just carrying this giant, like 80-pound cat over his head.
Oh, that was such an amazing part.
Hmm. So, but like,
That's oh, and
go
I
ahead.
love the bounce back and forth missions in the game between the world too.
Yeah, I was
Um,
sort of surprised about that because at the beginning, Drippy's like, "Well, you know where this guy is, right?" And I was like, "I no, because he's missing. Why? We haven't like investigated." And he said, "Well, he's in Motorville," and I was like, "Oh, all right, that's pretty cool. I kind of like that."
yeah, they've done that a couple times.
Yeah.
I've only done it twice because I've done it with the Timber Toldrum and then another time, which I won't say any more about. But
Hmm.
when you get to Almadoon, you will
You'll do it again,
encounter that soon. Yeah,
right?
but they're both really cool sequences. Just be sure and save often will be what I will say
Yeah,
because there are a lot of surprise battles. I mean, they'll try and kind of give you a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So
yeah.
hopefully you're picking up on the hints. But um, yeah, man,
It's
it's a
just
good game.
it's just really great.
I highly recommend it.
And I feel
It's
like if
definitely.
oops, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I feel
I
like
was just
it's
gonna.
a good. It would probably be a good JRPG for kids too. Like I feel like it's friendly
Oh
enough, and I feel like it's happy enough, and I feel like it's the tutorials are probably focused mainly on kids that are going to play it, and I feel like it's it's perfect. And if the story continues on the way that it's going now, there won't be anything that's nearly objectionable.
Man, I think it would be a perfect game for like a parent and their child to get together and
Yeah.
play through together. Um,
Which, and I don't think it has co-op, does it?
that'd be amazing if it did, but
I
not to
really
my
wish it
knowledge.
did, because I feel like that would be a great game for parents and their kids to play, couples to play, people that want to hang out on the couch for a couple hours and play. Like that's why I really wish. We've probably said it a ton of times on the show, but I really wish more JRPGs had a co-op option, like Final Fantasy IX, like Eternal Sonata. It just being able to share a game over 40 to 100 hours with somebody else, I mean, is a great experience, and it's just one that we can't share that often.
Yeah. Well, and the combat system in this really would lend itself to co-op, I
Mm,
think, with the live action nature of it. You'd probably want to take out the pausing on the menu part, which could lead to complications, but
right.
overall, like, just have one character control a human character, and I mean, that would work out great.
Yeah.
Because Susie, who hates JRPGs, has been playing through this game and loving it, and
Nice.
until last night was ahead of me in the game.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah,
Well, anything else we want to mention about I don't have too much to say about it because I'm only 3.5 hours in, but
yeah.
um,
I will harp on one thing.
okay.
Continuing in the game when you die.
Oh, I haven't died yet. What's the deal?
They they charge you 10% of your gold.
Oh, so it's really the very much like the Dragon Quest style.
Is that what they're doing? I can't hear it. It's been too long since I played a
The
Dragon
last one
Quest.
I played 8 and 9, and both of those were, I think, half of your gold.
Yeah, this isn't quite that drastic, but it's
Yeah.
still annoying enough where you're like, I just saved, and I saved because I was going to fight this boss, and I died against the boss, and now you're going to charge me money for this.
Can you just
And
reload the save point?
absolutely.
Okay, good.
But there are occasional, like the one I did recently, upset me a bit because it was you have to enter in a bit of dialogue. There are certain points in the game where it actually makes you spell things out, like
Oh, okay.
instead of doing a multiple choice thing. And I lost to this boss like 2 or 3 times, and each time I had to enter a bit of dialogue in to
Oh,
enable the boss encounter. So it was a little annoying, but
yeah.
luckily the boss battle was like super entertaining,
Mm.
which was let me think. How I'll just say this word, genie, and
Ah.
if whoever's gotten there will understand, you will understand when you get to it, Boston.
Yeah, I know what it's about. I've seen some screenshots of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was a very entertaining battle.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably about all I got to say for now.
Yeah. Well, what else you been playing?
Man, I loaded up Persona 4 and went through all the bonus content that's not in the game.
Oh, like the
Like,
Persona TV or whatever they call it?
yeah, the game
Yeah.
show. Did you
Yeah,
play through the
yeah.
game show?
That was pretty fun. I played through that. I think it was a trophy associated with it that I wanted. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. Like, I actually thought that trophy was associated with the Riddle Master in the game,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I didn't figure it out till well after I beat it. I'm like, huh, I never got that trophy.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a really entertaining game show.
Yeah.
And then I watched the music videos, which was kind of surreal.
Yeah, I've seen some of that stuff on YouTube. I didn't watch any of it in the game, but it's spot on, which is weird.
Yeah, it's funny because like you have the people singing and playing, and like the guy who wrote it all is just back there on guitar, like barely doing
Yeah,
anything.
just like hanging out.
Yeah, but it was it's neat to have all that extra stuff on there,
Yeah.
and then of course you have the if you're up at midnight, just turn on the game and scroll to the bottom of one of them, and you'll find Teddy's channel where he's just saying weird stuff.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, they totally
Oh,
do like a faux midnight channel thing.
okay, that's pretty cool. I might have to stay up one night for that.
Yeah.
But you know what's great about it though is we typically in the US and I know in Europe, we typically don't get that stuff because it's too hard to translate, it's too hard to bring over. It takes up so much space that they could use for English translations, and it's kind of nice that we got it for once. And they really put the time into translating it and cleaning it up. And I think we lost a little bit of stuff. I think there were some interviews that got cut, but I mean, we got the majority of it, so that's great.
Yeah. And man, I wish they had brought out the US version of that guide too, but because all the guides for all the Persona games, they always have really cool, or I say Persona, Shin Megami Tensei games and Persona games always have interviewers with the creators where
Yeah.
they'll actually get into like philosophy and stuff.
Yeah, it's always really cool. The Double Jump books, when they were putting out some SMT guides, were always really good about that.
Man, you know what? Not that anyone from Double Jump is listening, but they should just release PDF versions. I mean,
I'll
if you
buy
can't
them
afford
on
to make the
Amazon.
exactly, if you can't afford the physical copies, give me a
Yeah.
PDF I can put on one of my portable devices.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was a
that'd
shame
be,
that that company had so many problems because the guides that they were putting out were, I would have to say, some of the best.
are they out of business now?
I don't think so, but I think they scaled back
Yeah.
pretty majorly. If somebody would
Um,
like to talk to me about it on this show from Double Jump, please email me. I would love to talk to somebody at Double Jump.
you know what? If they did a Double Jump Kickstarter, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'll throw
I
you a
can't.
lot of money.
Yeah, I can't imagine those things would cost. I doubt they'd need $1 million goal to get that thing kicked
Right.
off.
It's probably
So
more time. Like I could imagine it's just staffing time
yeah.
for, having somebody go through the game and translating stuff and all that. But it's tough.
Um. Let's see. I played through Igus's bid on Persona 4 Arena.
Mm.
Um. Haven't played that game in like a month, so I don't remember what else to say about it except it's neat. I
Yeah, it
enjoyed.
is still really good, but it's intense.
Yeah. Played some Borderlands 2. Me and Scott did some multiplayer, so I played my soldier a bit more.
Hmm.
I think I'm up to close to 30 golden keys at the moment.
Wow. What level
It
are you?
is. What man? Which character? The soldier is only like in his teens, like level
Okay.
15 or something.
Once you start
Uh,
getting to like 25 to 35, that when my girlfriend and I were playing pretty heavily, we found that was pretty much the perfect time to start spending golden keys. Because like your loot sort of starts dropping off when you're doing quests, and the stuff you get in there is way above and beyond what you're picking up.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. It's
Yeah.
because right now I got a level 5, or maybe she's level 10 by now. Macromancer,
Yeah.
who's way fun to play, and I've had her open up the chest a time or two.
Hmm.
Um, I have my what's the ninja called? Zero.
Yeah.
Zero's in his 30s, and I've been going through that first the Pirate Booty DLC.
Yeah.
And that's pretty entertaining. I really like the vehicle they give you in that.
It's uncontrollable in a pretty fun way.
And I haven't wandered outside of that DLC yet. You can't use that vehicle outside of that
No.
DLC, can you? Okay.
But the area
just-
they give you to kind of drive the sand skiff around is pretty big.
Yes, and being able to run over those stupid sandworms
Yeah.
is amazing because they are so annoying.
And they are everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, yeah. So that game's still really great. I guess I hadn't played it because I didn't realize that they added a yes or no box to the golden chest. And
Yeah, they just patched that in.
okay,
Because I got the impression that people who were buying it, they don't really do a great job of explaining the golden chest within the game, because I don't think they do at all. I think you start the game with one or two keys, and of course when you get to Sanctuary, the very first thing is you see this amazing looking gold chest with skulls on it, and you're like, yeah, I want to go interact with that. Oh, I used my only key. Okay.
well, even if you know about it, like you just load up your guy and you're like, I'm in Borderlands. I need to open up everything I see. And oh
Yeah,
crap,
you're immediately facing that chest.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
a bit weird.
good on them for putting that in. I
Mhm.
think it's a good idea, even if it's not the most attractive looking yes or no box.
It certainly doesn't hurt though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I played some more Skyrim. About done with the Thieves Guild quests again with my my latest character.
Hmm.
Hoping to start the Assassin's Quests.
Right.
Um, I went ahead and picked up that mod that kind of became the talk of the town for a while that added a bunch of NPCs to the world,
Oh, okay.
uh, which is neat. But like one of my initial problems with like the immersion of Skyrim is everyone is ready to tell you their life story,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
the
Everybody is
NP
ready to interrupt your game.
yes, and the NPC mods is like that a thousandfold because like
Ugh.
all the characters they added seem really interesting. Like I encountered this one chick who's a priestess of I can't remember the god's name, but the marriage one,
Yeah.
and she's in Riften, and she's like an ex thief, and like starts giving you her diatribe, and in the middle of it, she's like, "Ah, screw it, I don't believe in any of this stuff anyway." And it was funny and entertaining, but it just kind of went on way long for someone
Yeah.
I just met on the street, like.
Yeah.
And that's probably just an issue more with the overall design of the game than anything.
Hmm.
But I do wish they had maybe stretched it out a little bit. But it is an
Yeah.
entertaining mod that I think could be a lot of fun for some people, even though it's a little annoying.
Hmm.
The voice acting in it is surprisingly competent
Hmm.
most of the time. Um, the probably the best voice actor and it's probably the bard singer that I've encountered. But then again, I haven't found the lich that is supposedly recruitable yet,
Ooh.
which is the thing that made me download it. But I haven't looked up to see where any of them are.
Speaking of Skyrim mods, I just saw a news story. I think it was yesterday or the day before that somebody released a mod that allows you to recruit as a companion a giant armored bear. And that sounds awesome.
That does sound awesome.
I would play that.
I hadn't heard about that.
I think I got the impression that it just came out. I think I saw it on Joystick or Kotaku or something.
Yeah, like all the mods I've gotten in the last month or two have been non-Steam mods, which is
Mm,
really disappointing.
that's surprising.
Yeah, like a lot of them, they won't. I don't know. I don't know what Steam's guidelines are for uploading mods, but
Oh yeah.
I'm really disappointed that I don't have these automatic updates through Steam's on these other mods.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll work out whatever it is they need to work out with them, because
Yeah.
like I love the Steam Workshop, it just doesn't have everything I want in it.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I don't know. It's an initial idea, so maybe by the time they get the next Elder Scrolls out, they'll have thought of an even better way to implement it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I played some multiplayer on XCOM, Enemy Unknown with Scott.
Ooh.
Um, that I'm trying to think of what to say about it. Like, it's fun, but it really needed a lot more work put into it.
Is it just really bare bones?
Yeah, like the way they do it is you decide on a point allotment, and
Okay.
they go up to certain increments up to something like 20,000, and then they move to unlimited.
Okay.
If you want one troop like decked out with the real nice weapons, and you're playing a 20,000 point game, then you're only going to have one or two troops.
Oh,
Um,
okay. So you use points to like outfit your soldiers?
right.
Okay.
But the game is really unbalanced when you start looking into using the aliens,
Mm.
because you can get one of those ethereal for 9,000 points,
Boy, that's not nearly
and they
enough.
and they come with psychic storm.
Oh wow.
So, which I don't remember any of them ever using against me in the game. And maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they do it on harder levels. But like human players, their side troopers can't get that skill.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
So to me, like me and Scott played like we decided on 50,000 points. So we selected unlimited,
Mhm.
and he did like 6 troops decked out with the best weapon and plasma weapons and stuff. And I took
Yeah.
in like 2 ethereals and 2 flying saucers, and I don't remember something else, and just like obliterated him.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow,
he
that's
felt like
weird.
he did better that time, but it was just like, I got 2 ethereals doing psychic storm on you. What are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
you can't really get away from that.
Yeah, It's yeah, the human and alien troops are really unbalanced in the point allotments.
Yeah.
Um, but it's still kind of fun going through that. I'd be curious to play because Scott isn't too far into the single player game,
Mm.
so I'd be curious to experience that with someone who's beaten the single player game just to see
Yeah.
if there actually is strategy. Well, I say that there is strategy to it, but I'm like it feels like it comes down to whose main group finds the other main to a degree.
Right. Yeah, like who gets the jump on him?
Yeah, because I mean, you could lose a couple troops and really be hurting, but I don't know. There's I guess I haven't played it enough to say entirely one way or the other. The other really annoying thing about this on PC is like it takes like Steam has its own chat client, right?
Yeah.
That it works sort of like Xbox Live actually, where you can chat with anyone no matter what game you're playing. The But what XCOM does is it takes that away and moves you to an in-game client that won't let you assign like the audio output and input settings. So
Oh.
like I use like now when I play a Steam game, I use my Sony wired headset, which is surprisingly like it works on PC. It has a little speaker that you can assign the person's voice to, and it has a
Hmm.
mouthpiece. And it works great with Steam, but it works horribly with freaking XCOM. I could
Oh,
not
weird.
get XCOM to send the voice audio signal to that ear, so I was getting the game music and the player voice out of my speakers. So
Oh, right.
that was a weird decision that I don't understand why they made it.
Yeah, that's odd.
Especially on one-on-one matches where you know you're going to be wanting
Yeah.
to talk with the other person.
Yeah. Weird.
It's I don't know, odd decision making.
Yeah.
And I believe that takes up my list. So
Well, I haven't played too many RPGs this month. I've mostly been focused on Sleeping Dogs and finishing everything available in that game.
yes.
Um, but other than Nino Cooney, TVGP alumni Brad and I were talking the other day, and he was mentioning how he was getting back into Diablo 3 and playing a little bit of that. And I realized I haven't finished Inferno with my main character in Diablo 3, so I installed that because I have a problem with playing games that I've already beaten and not games that I haven't. So I'm sure I will be talking about that on the show next month because I am weak-willed overall when it comes to games. Uh, but other than that, that's all I've been playing. So let's take a break.
Okay.
All right, I have to go to the bathroom very badly. I'll be back.
Okay. Oh yeah, I guess there could be an audience thing. Let me check the Twitch TV feed. I'd pull the knobs and start talking about how to make mashed potatoes, but I don't actually know how to make mashed potatoes. Well, I mean, buy the box, add water, heat, done. Show off my freaking sweet Thanatos toy. And those are the sounds he makes, you know. I think that's about all the entertaining I have in me.
Alrighty, I'm back.
Cool.
Let me open up show notes here. Get logged back into email. Alright, I'm ready to start whenever you are.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk RPG releases for February 2013. First up, we have Fire Emblem Awakening for the 3DS coming out on the 4th, which I am getting a lot more excited about the more coverage I see of this game.
Yeah, the more normies that really get into this to this tactics tactics game stuff, like it just
Yeah.
makes me want to buy what they're playing so I can encourage their behavior.
Yeah. This is actually going to be my first Fire Emblem game. I've
I,
never played one before.
I've only played the one for GameCube, and that one was absolutely amazing. So I kind of expect all of them to play like
Yeah.
that.
Well, and apparently this new one has easy modes too, to make it a little bit easier, and it does still have a classic mode where if a party member does die in battle, they're dead forever. But it's sort of like an Iron Man toggle, like the
Yeah.
XCOM one. So I think
Well, I
that's a
mean
much smarter option.
that's the shtick for all the old ones is when someone dies in battle, it's permadeath,
Yeah.
even if they're an enemy PC that may eventually join you and you don't know better than to not kill,
Yeah.
which happened to me on the GameCube one. So I never got any. I never can say the word. Wyvern, is that how you say it?
Wyvern, sure.
The dragon thingies.
Dragony things.
Yeah, those writer people. I never got any of them, but like the game was amazing because it's. And I assume most of the games have this, where when you use certain characters in battle, they can after a certain time, they'll develop friendships and unlock combat abilities for them.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, that's a pretty big part of this one.
Yeah, and actually on One Up, Jeremy Parrish wrote a really good article on kind of the history of Fire Emblem.
Hmm.
And I always thought Fire Emblem came out after Shining Force, and just figured it was a bunch of Shining Force guys went and made Fire Emblem because they couldn't
Right.
make Shining Force anymore, and it was not the case at all. Like
Hmm.
this game has been around since the NES, which was
Yeah,
mind
that's a lot
blowing.
longer than I
So
thought. Hmm.
yeah,
I'll have to go read
but
that. But the other release coming out this month is Etrian Odyssey 4 Legends of the Titan for the 3DS. Another one I have pre ordered, and I don't know if I'll even begin playing that. I don't know if I want to go down that rabbit hole, but I'm happy to support Atlas.
if you're gonna play a first person dungeon crawler in the style of Wizardry Bard's Tale, I think the Etrian Odyssey games are the way to go.
Yeah, sort of the most modern of any of
Yeah.
that
Th-
genre.
They have enough modern caveats and still have all the old stuff in it and are still ridiculously hard. So,
Yeah. All right, let's move on to news stories here. Project Red shows Cyberpunk 2077 teaser and gives some release details. I'm going to turn this over to you because I missed a lot of this and I haven't had a chance to get freshened up on it again.
oh, okay. So, of course, Project Red is the Witcher people.
Hmm.
The Cyberpunk 2077 is a paper and pencil role playing game from like the 80s or early 90s. I have never played it myself, but this game is going to be an open world, story heavy, non linear RPG. Um, Due out, like the trailer says, when it's ready. Evidently, some of the forums talk that has been going around has said like 2014 or 2015.
Hmm.
But this note here says 2015 or 2016, which is probably just as possible.
Yeah. Who even
Um,
knows?
like the trailer was just a CGI thing, and they talked about starting on this, I think last April.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I've been afraid of the Witcher games because they sound really complicated, and like when I have to learn a new RPG system, I'm very cautious because they're so time consuming to learn.
Yeah.
And this will be one of those games, but it should have lots of cool like brain hacking and like they have. I know one of the features of the original paper and pencil was some sort of humanity gauge on getting your body replaced and losing humanity
Oh,
points or
nice.
something. So
Man, that's all the cyberpunk stuff that's really cool. Like, and if somebody can
yeah,
really capture that in a game, this in a way that hasn't been done since maybe Shadowrun, then that could be really cool.
like I feel like, and this may be inaccurate because I don't know a ton about Cyberpunk, but that the game could be our Ghost in the Shell game that we've always wanted. You
Oh,
know?
that'd be great. Yeah, I'd be down for that. We only got like one really good Ghost in the Shell game that was for PS1, so and that was like an action game.
Yeah.
So
And I think this could bring the philosophy of Ghost in the Shell to an open world
yeah,
RPG. I mean, that could be. I think it will probably be amazing because Project Red is doing it.
yeah, and they just really make the games that they want to make without worrying about focus testing or worrying about the market. If they want to make a philosophically based pen and paper RPG, then they're gonna do it because they feel like doing it. So, and
And they
that's
have
good news.
no compunctions about fixing their mistakes later on.
Yeah, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I'm in. This will probably be a day one thing unless they
Yeah,
just show something so horrible in a
yeah,
trailer or something. But
yeah. I'm very
open
excited.
world, like if you give me an open world Skyrim, you
Yeah,
got me.
yep. Hook, line, and sinker. Next news story: Xseed is bringing Pandora's Tower to the U.S. this spring. This is the last of the three Project Rainfall or Operation Rainfall games. I'm surprised that Xseed is bringing this out because if I remember correctly, this wasn't nearly as well received as the last story and Xenoblade Chronicles. So I'm sort
Yeah.
of surprised, but I'm glad Xseed announced 800 games coming out in the next 2 years. So I'm sort of glad to see them kind of picking up the games that that Atlas isn't putting out. We're getting another sort of niche publisher, which I think we need. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
the
agree. They've been busy, and I look forward to see what they bring over.
yeah. Next news story is genuinely one of the two largest surprises that have happened in the last couple of months, and the second one is the one we'll be talking about next. But uh, Sega, somebody, Namco Bandai is bringing out Project X Zone, or maybe Project Cross Zone. I don't know. But for people that haven't heard of this or don't remember because it was never going to come out here, it is a Sega slash Namco slash Capcom crossover strategy RPG. And it is just insane. It's one of those games that you know as soon as you see it, you're like, man, this looks awesome, but this is never going to come out over here.
Yeah.
Like some sort of Gundam RPG that's never going to happen. And I don't know what sort of black magic they had to do to get everybody to agree to it, but it's coming out in North America and Europe and Australia this summer. So I am 100% there day one. This looks
I
dumb fun.
I didn't even know about this. Like
Mhm.
I'm glancing through this article in our file, and like that is just crazy to me. Street Fighter Valkyria Chronicles. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can basically have like Ryu and Ken fighting against Cosmos from Xenosaga and the lady that was the main character of Valkyria Chronicles, and just
uh,
like how what?
Jin from Tekken's gonna be in it.
Yeah,
Freaking
things get real
uh,
weird.
the characters from Shining Force EX8. That's a niche PS2 title at
Yeah,
best.
yeah. I mean, like that. It's incredible. So This is the second of the cross games that came out. The first one that came out was I think just Capcom and Sega, or Capcom and Namco. And I can't be happier that they're coming out with this. As soon as I can pre-order this game, I absolutely will. Even if it doesn't play that well, I think it's going to be a blast. Just because it's going to be fan service from top to
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
So there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But our next news story is probably one of the biggest genuine surprises of the last couple of months. Coming out of Nintendo Direct, they announced Shin Megami Cross Fire Emblem. I don't even know what. Like, this is great. This is probably going to be awesome, but I just, how, what?
Yeah, I don't, and it's watching the trailer. I don't even see the Persona characters. I'm amazed they're bringing this out here.
Yeah, that's sort of the biggest surprise because I was expecting it to be like Persona Cross SMT or like Persona Cross something else, but to have like just standard SMT crossing over with anything is just
Yeah, like characters from the first two SMT games, which were
yeah,
never released here.
like the
You can probably
NES
find,
games,
yeah,
like
yeah,
crazy stuff. I mean, between that and we're actually getting Soul Hackers here, like this, it's a really great time to be an SMT fan.
yeah. This thing has sold a Wii U for me. Like this is $450 down the drain.
Oh, I thought it was coming out on 3DS. It's coming out on Wii U.
Yeah,
Oh, between that and Bayonetta 2, man, I am in. Good
yeah.
to go.
I'm probably like if this game comes out before Christmas, I'm probably buying the game before I get the system. But well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I mean, now I'm kind of curious as to who's going to publish it. It's probably not going to be Atlas if it's
Oh,
this. It's probably going to be Nintendo, I guess.
I
So maybe it
Well,
won't
yeah,
be
it was
Rare.
in the Nintendo announcement
Hmm.
monthly thing. So yeah, it's got to be
So
Nintendo doing it.
hopefully it won't be a small print run or anything.
I, maybe what Nintendo's thinking right now is they just need all the games they can, especially exclusives for the Wii U to
Yeah.
get that system moving.
If you're going to make crazy stuff like this, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
You got me sold.
So I don't-
Um, All right, moving on to the next news story here. We talked about the sort of the good parts of Ni no Kuni during the first segment here, and let's talk about where things went wrong. So basically, Namco Bandai used Digital River for its online shop. And when we were talking about it on TVGP, I sort of compared and contrasted this sales to what Atlas typically does. And Atlas typically says, go buy it on Amazon. And when Amazon runs out of copies, they just stop selling it, and nothing's wrong. Unfortunately, Digital River didn't have that foresight and ran into a bug with their store where they sold more copies of the game than they were going to print. And instead of printing more copies of the game, they just canceled orders. Seemingly out of the blue, and then some extra people got their orders canceled, kind of mistakenly and kind of just randomly. So Digital River did what they thought was the right thing, and at its concept, at its core, is the right thing. And they said, well, for those people that got their orders mistakenly canceled, we're going to shoot you an email with a URL. Just go on that website, buy another copy. We'll send it to you. You already have your original money, refunded. Just go ahead and buy another copy. But instead of doing the right thing and giving everybody a unique URL to go purchase a copy, they made a one URL. And of course that ripped across the internet because not only could you order the Wizard Edition again, it was also $20 off. So sort of taking that problem and making it worse. To add to the problems, somebody found an eBay user who I will not name, who was selling hundreds and hundreds of copies of this game for $400 a pop. So the internet, being what it is, started accusing Namco Bandai of price gouging, saying, well, you guys are this store, so you're just trying to sell more copies of Wizard Edition, and I can't believe you had this many. So Namco Bandai eventually had to put out a press release saying, no, that's really not us. We just screwed up again by not putting a limit on the number of games you could order at one time. So this place ordered hundreds of copies of this game for, whatever it is, $100 to $125, and then flipped each one of them for $400 a pop. So you almost have to applaud them for their business savvy, but it also kind of sucks at the same time.
It makes me wish I ordered 2 copies. To be blunt,
yeah, I'm surprised it was that rare. So Namco Bandai is in a really unfortunate position, and at this point they could only offer people that got really screwed by this a $20 gift card and a free copy of the strategy guide, which is nice, but I have heard from so many people across the internet that once they got screwed out of this copy, that they have such a bad taste in their mouth that they're not going to buy Ni no Kuni in general, which I understand, but it's also a shame because it is genuinely a really great game. So
yeah, I think it's, man, I don't think there's any making up for having a pre-order that you've probably been sitting on for half a year canceled.
Yeah.
But I do think at least Namco is like that hardcover strategy guide. It's like a $30-$40 book. So
yeah, it's a nice gesture.
I know you're not getting the magic book you want. And I know I wasn't, like, for me, I probably would have waited a couple months and then played it. If they'd given me that free stuff, I still would have had to heal a bit. But hearing all the positive goodwill around a lot of the people on the internet probably would have eventually brought me back to the game.
Yeah.
But there were moments where I was staring at eBay going, do I really want to charge $300 to my card?
Yeah. And it's just such a shame because they built up such good word around this game, and they were really marketing it very, very well, and to have the actual delivery of the product go so wrong is really one, such a shame, but two, just really, it should be a wake-up call to Namco saying, hey, you need to get your stuff in order if you're going to only offer this thing via Nino Starter. I think you could buy the Wizard Edition on Amazon and other places, but um, if you're only going to offer it via this way, you need to have your stuff in order. You need to
Yeah.
do it right.
I mean,
So
they screwed the pooch on that thing from the beginning. I mean, to me, it's like a grievous error that they didn't have day of release shipping.
yeah,
Um,
especially in like 2013 when I can go to Amazon for even Atlas games will give me
mhm.
release day shipping, and I have Prime, so it's typically free. I mean, it may be first world problems, but that's sort of how our culture is. We're so excited about these brand new games that we want to experience the game alongside everybody else. So
Yeah,
it's sort of a shame.
they screwed it up. I
Yeah.
hope everyone's wounds heal, and I hope Namco does the really smart thing and make hard copy versions of the Magic book for sale
Yeah.
at a bookstore or something.
Even
I mean,
if
I bet $20 I think would be the sweet spot price, but
yeah.
I bet they could get away if they needed to do it for 30.
Yeah, and even if they just or sell it through their own store, which I think would be fine because it's not a thing you need day and date. It's just kind of a cool little
Yeah,
thing you put in your collection on your shelf.
exactly.
So, but they have announced the first DLC for Ni no Kuni. It's a Draggle familiar coming out February 12th, and it's free. So, surprised that it's free, but that's also very nice. And I'm hoping I can get to the point where I can redeem the 3 familiars I have sitting in my bottomless bag because they seem awesome.
Yeah, I don't even. That's right. They give you tickets. Maybe I need to click
Hmm.
on those again because I haven't figured out how to get those.
Yeah, yeah. I've
um,
got 2 from the Wizards edition and 1 from the guide. So
yeah, me too.
hopefully I can use them somewhere because they seem pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right, last news story here. Soul Sacrifice, a Vita action RPG, was announced coming out here in North America, April 30th and May 1st for Europe. It is action RPG made by Kenji Inafune. Is working on the concept. I don't know too much about this. I think this is a fairly new story. What's going on with this guy?
Uh, Unfortunately, I really don't know a ton about it
Okay,
either.
that's probably
But
all the news we have now, anyway.
yeah, it looks real pretty from the screens. But it could go either the Monster Hunter or Diablo style, so I don't know where they're
Right,
going with it.
right. That's all of our news stories. So let's move on to tweets and emails. Looking through, we don't have any tweets. We do have one email though, from Travis, aka Gnarly Thotep. He says, "Greetings, Pupple Peglers." Uh, he says, "One suggestion for the bargain bin replacement section would be a notables section. Each month, break down one RPG which, although not necessarily a bargain, is one that you think offered something that, while maybe not groundbreaking, was striking in some way. This could range from simply older titles like the Gold Box SSI games to the multi-generational stories in Phantasy Star 3 to the total insanity that is Nier. It would be interesting to see what moments and mechanisms stick with you from a variety of titles." That's actually a really good idea. Because
I like I like that idea. We needed to start it, discuss what we wanted to do a month in advance, so that I would actually play that a little bit.
yeah, sort of
And
like refresh our memories a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah, because it would almost be like an extension of the carousel-based RPG Love that we started with. Which, if
oh yeah,
anybody's just started listening to the show, go to the carouselpodcast.com and you look for our older RPG Love shows where we talk about every RPG we've played, back to the beginning of when we were starting to play RPGs. It is a very fun trip down memory lane, and it was the direct inspiration for us doing this show. So it's a little bit of history, and it turned out really well. So thecarouselpodcast.com.
yeah. And just click on the series tab, and you'll see a section that says the RPG series, and just click
Yep.
on that top link, and it'll take you to all of them.
There you go. All right. He has a couple questions for us, so let's start knocking these out. Number one, what is your most amusing RPG? The one that made you laugh out loud the most. He actually had a good couple of suggestions here. He said he thought the Mario and Luigi series was surprisingly comedic. I thought those were great. Even back to the Super NES, Super Mario RPG. It's sort of fun to see developers take the time to make fun of Mario. Instead of being so reverent towards those characters, they sort of
Yeah.
had fun with it. He also says Disgaea is amusing, although I found it a bit too over the top at times. Yeah, I think Disgaea 1 is fun and over the top, but the other games keep trying to one up themselves, which ends up being a little weird. And he said Costume Quest is also a smile mine, which is a pretty good phrase, and that game is
Yeah.
just adorable. That's another
I
great kids RPG.
I love that game.
Yeah.
I still haven't played the DLC. I need to get back and do that.
Yeah, I didn't play the DLC because I ran into that weird save game bug on the 360
Ah,
where you couldn't carry over anything you had in the DLC or something. I don't remember, or you weren't getting achievements or something weird. Trying to think of funny RPGs. I kind of like Rogue Galaxy, a previous level 5 game. It was kind of swashbuckling in a dumb way. And it was kind of fun. I'm trying to think of anything else though.
I can think of mine.
Mm.
Probably hands down. Maybe not, but I'm thinking Metal Saga for PS2.
Yeah, that's a really good pick.
That game is nuts. Like, just buy it, play the first 5 minutes, and choose not to be the hunter and choose the mechanic or whatever. And that's the game for you. They have dogs
Yeah.
with rocket launchers on their back. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
how can you go wrong? Yeah, that's probably a good pick. Like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, a lot of JRPGs are so self-serious or so, apocalyptic wasteland that, it's pretty uncommon to get a JRPG or an RPG in general that's funny. Well, I guess some stuff in Fallout and some stuff in Skyrim, all those Elder Scrolls games and all those Fallout games
Yeah.
have funny elements.
If you want to move to the action RPG, I mean, Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
I mean, just just Claptrap's rants alone about,
Yeah.
when you're looking for the thing, and he's like, first you must go kill the king of Skags. And,
Yeah, and he gives you 5 crazy things to do.
yeah. Pick up
Yeah.
a million rocks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
His next question is, what are some of your favorite RPG mini games? He said, I actually quite like the card games in Final Fantasy 8 and 9, but my favorite is still the cooking mini game in Suikoden 2. I know everybody loves the triple triad from Final Fantasy 8, but I loved the one from 9, especially. And I never played Suikoden 2, but my favorite one, easily, is the golf mini game in Dark Cloud 2. Just because it is, you finish these. For anybody that hasn't played Dark Cloud 2, there's a fishing mini game and there's a golfing mini game. And basically, after you've finished a randomly generated level in the main game where you're fighting enemies and you're doing all your normal stuff, you can go back into the level, and I don't think it randomly generates them again. But you can fish in any of the lakes and waters that are around. But the best part is you can do this golfing minigame, and basically you upgrade. It's stupid because you can make and upgrade and improve your golf clubs, but you have this ball that changes color between one or two. I think it's like pink and purple every time it hits a surface. And basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the ball into the cup, which is like this floating giant portal somewhere in the level. And you're trying to get, I think, the opposite color into the portal. So like if the portal is purple, you're trying to get pink in there. And the reason why it's so amazing and so devilish is because you'll go into a level and it will be nothing but twists and turns and, valleys and hills and everything. And you'll actually have to try and bank this ball off of these walls to try and careen throughout this entire level to try and get in this giant portal at the end. Or it was just a level that was pretty easy and it's just a straight shot. And it's this thing that didn't need to be in a game like Dark Cloud 2 because there was still enough great stuff in there to begin with, but for some reason they made this crazy magical portal golf game in there, and it's amazing and stupid.
Man, that sounds pretty cool. I can't really. I play so many Shin Megami Tensei games, and like I don't really know that they have mini games. I mean, I guess you could say fishing and Persona 4, but
Yeah.
for the most part, they're all like demon fusing. I did like the card games in Final Fantasy 8 and 9.
Yeah.
But I can't play them, or else that will be all I do.
Yeah, that will be the
Especially in
end of
9. I really like the hacking mini games in the Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Not Mass Effect 1. That was terrible.
Yeah.
But 2, like it looked complicated and it was simple and I enjoyed that. I was
Wasn't
sad
that
when
the-
they were gone from 3.
Wasn't that the code matching one? Where you're like matching
Yeah.
code snippets? Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't really think of.
I feel like we're missing something really major here.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, I can't believe you didn't talk about this game. You know, I can't believe you didn't talk about the 800 mini games in Final Fantasy 7. But the Gold Saucer music is terrible, so no.
Yeah, like
You can hear it in
I
my
don't
head
know.
now.
I liked Chocobo racing back in the day, but I doubt you could get me to do it right now. And
I mean,
can't
maybe
think-
the orchard stuff in Legend of Mana, which is a game that only I enjoy. Everybody else apparently thinks it's the worst.
I've never played it, so
It was
I
pretty
don't have an
okay.
opinion.
It was a pretty okay game.
Um,
All right, well, let's move on to the third question here. I found it surprising there aren't a lot of spy-based RPGs. You and me both. I'd say that Alpha Protocol and Deus Ex count, and to some extent the Genesis Shadowrun. He said, I really like those hacking runs. Are there any espionage-based RPGs you remember and would recommend? I always recommend Alpha Protocol, even though it's not really a good game. It is always cheap and a sort of a flawed gem. And you will get a different story than pretty much everybody else. But I have always found it very surprising that there aren't a lot of spy RPGs because it seems like the speed of spying sort of lends itself to like a strategy RPG or something, or at least like a one-man sort of sneaking strategy turn-based thing. But
well, I mean, even it would really do itself well to an RPG party where you have one member really good at hacking, one member really good at physical locks.
yeah. Almost like a
one of-
Lost Vikings sort of thing, where it's like, oh, you need this person to get through this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't really think. I feel like you've named all of the ones that
Yeah,
exist already.
all of the two ones that are
Yeah.
out there. Yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, there must be some reason that we don't have more. You know, I wonder if it. I'm sure some company has gone through the design phase on a spy turn-based or real-time RPG or something, and it never comes together. You know, it never really fully fleshes itself out because, I mean, Alpha Protocol can't be our only one. You know, that's just one game.
I don't know. Man, I really can't think of any. I mean, the stealth stuff in Skyrim is like it's good in the way that where if your stealth stat is high enough, you stay hidden. But other than that, it's really kind of, you know.
You step on a branch and they're like, look at
Yeah.
that guy over there.
I mean, it's not like you're doing any like interesting things. You just we're gonna forge someone's name on a paper. So just walk up to the paper and click the button, and you're done.
Yeah.
I think it would lend itself really well, but I don't. I'm willing to bet it's a genre that is incredibly hard to sell to publishers. So
That's true, yeah.
I think we'd be more likely to find someone who has a reputation for making good RPGs and convince them to make like an old school 16-bit, 32-bit style
Yeah.
2D RPG with that in mind and
Yeah.
do a Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly. So if anybody's out there thinking about it, you know, kickstart it. I'll pay for it.
Yeah. I need a recognizable name involved for me to throw money behind it.
Yeah. All right, and his final question here is, Finally, since Valentine's is coming up, what's the best RRPG romantic role playing game? Also, what is the best RRPG not featuring social links? Well, I guess
I see what he
Persona
did there.
I guess Persona 3 and 4 would probably be some of the best romantic RPGs. I don't know if Chulip counts as an RPG, but that was at least the kissing game. I don't
Um,
think that there are very many. I mean, there are games. I mean, if you look at BioWare games, yeah, you can quote unquote romance people, but it's it's not very hard. Like
yeah,
you just pick
and
the thing that you think they want to hear, and
I mean, it's kind of a side point in the game. Like, in
yeah,
Mass Effect, especially in 3, they make it a big point where they're like, look, Shepard's big love in life is trying to take down the Reapers, not whatever chick you just picked up,
right, exactly.
Um, I, Skyrim, it's put on a necklace and go talk to someone.
Yeah, I mean, when you start talking about romance in RPGs or romance in a lot of games, it's kind of paper thin. It's not really. And I guess if you start talking about maybe more romantic games, then you probably start talking about some visual novels out there where they take the time to really build a world and build your relationship with characters. And for as much as RPGs do that, I don't feel like I feel like most of them have a story to tell. So most of them are gonna be Cloud is in love with Aerith. Oh no, that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Well, and you could say, you know what? You could say Xenogears is a big romance, even though it's
That's
a very
true.
linear story with no options in it. It is at its core, to a large degree, a big romance between,
It is a love story
yeah, that
with
spans
robots.
centuries.
Yeah, well, that is a really good choice because it is, even though it is a love story with robots, it tries to tell a different love story, that does span centuries, and it does something a little bit different.
It's just probably not obvious it's a love story until about 20 hours in.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, so that's who he's been painting. Interesting.
Yeah, I get it.
I know who that is. Wait, what year are we in again? Yeah, so
Um,
that's actually a really good question because that sort of bums me out that there aren't more true romance focused games in general. It's either the damsel in distress or the busty, scantily clad chick with a gun. It's
well,
kind of a bummer.
but really, I mean, I would blame less the game industry and more society because when Mass Effect 1 came out and freaking Fox News flipped out over seeing the side of a butt in a
Yeah,
sex
yeah,
scene in the game,
yeah.
I mean that's a society we live in. I mean that's
It probably makes publishers a little skittish.
yeah, they don't like putting like I mean they'll put kind of sex scenes in the game, but they aren't gonna. I mean if they get this much backlash just for a 20-second sex scene that doesn't show any actual like they don't show any of the censored parts you can't show on TV.
Right.
I mean, then that's why would they make an entire game based around romancing someone? I mean, you get
Right.
that in Japan plenty, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
I don't. I don't think the U.S. is mature enough socially yet for it.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's sort of a bummer, but go play Xenogears because that game
Yeah,
is, even though it's a little bit heavy-handed with some of the religious stuff, it is actually genuinely an interesting and very detailed tale. Even though the second disc is a little tough, but if you
yeah.
like the story, then disc 2 is all story, so it's not that bad.
And if you play it 8 hours a day between now and Valentine's Day, you might actually reach the end.
It's true. Yeah, you might reach the end by Valentine's Day 2014.
Yeah.
But that's all the emails and tweets we have. If you'd like to listen to past episodes or look at posts I haven't really been writing lately, you can visit pickingupthepixels.com. And don't forget to watch a live stream. You can watch back episodes too at twitch.tv/E1M1 network. And all the history has been put on the YouTube channel too. And all the links and all the info are on the right hand side of the page. If you like to listen to Musim's podcast, you can do so at thecarouselpodcast.com. Also, while you're by there, swing by and listen to the classic RPG Love episodes. And if you like the music in this episode, please go buy some of the music stuff. It is both good and very reasonably priced at listentomusum.com or bandcamp.com/musum, or musum.bandcamp.com. Something. It's on listentomusum.com. And go listen to my other show, That Video Game Podcast, tvgp.tv. If you like video game music, Dynamic Soundtrack is still out there, dynamicsoundtrack.com. And I think that's it.
Yeah, that was a bunch.
Email us, tweet us. Thanks for listening. Our adventures continue next month.
Doo-doo-doo. I always feel like we should have to be continued music.
Yeah, some sort of, or we put in some sort of like RPG I just slept in music.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, thank you everybody for watching in the live stream. I apologize for the really boring first half hour of behind the scenes of, oh my god, why isn't this recording? Which I still don't know. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. Bye.